Hi, everybody. I'm just jumping in here quick to remind you that if you are missing I Rock Knits Designs podcasts because you're missing Corey's stories or what I'm designing or what new patterns I have coming out, all of that is available to people in my Patreon community. So for just $2 a month, you can join me over there and get an extra additional podcast every week. I also have a book club that meets once a month, as well as knit night. So we alternate and we do that on Zoom. And I am just so happy with the support that I've received over on Patreon. It has allowed me to pay all of my monthly bills for hosting and some of my website, as well as just paying for some technology. So if you are so inclined, I would love it if you would go over to patreon.com and join my knitting community over there. I only post when I have something new to share with all of you, and it's just been really helpful to me to have those people that have come over and support me. So I have 3 memberships, $2, $4, and $10 a month. And the $10 a month people do get every single one of my knitting patterns for free, in addition to the extra podcast content. So I just wanted to share that because I always don't do it on my Chatting with Friends videos. And so some of you are unaware that I am also still recording podcasts out there that include all of the old stuff, the audio books and what I've been watching and what I'm knitting on. So if you're missing that content and you just like to join me for a couple of months, you can join and unsubscribe to that anytime. There's no, limit on it. And I'd love to have you over there. So thanks. And now on to that interview with Zack Anderson. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 178 of the I Rock Knits podcast. Today, I have a guest, Zack Anderson, also known as KnitKnackZack. He is a Minnesota-based podcaster and knitter who I have run into several times kind of out and about, but I don't know Zack well. And so I asked him if he'd be on the podcast kind of as a random stranger on the internet. And he was like, sure. Although he already has his own podcast that he puts out. So he is comfortable sharing what he's knitting in front of the camera. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. You just moved.
I did. Yes, I'm in my new space right now. I haven't recorded a podcast in a while, but I think maybe after this, I'm going to try to sit down and record one. But yeah, I'm in my new space. It's probably a bit echoey because it's kind of empty, but
Yeah.
I have my yarn all set up and everything. Yeah. So
Are you still in the St. Paul area?
I am. Yeah, I actually just moved like a block from where I was. So
Oh,
like it was a super quick move, but still in the process of like cleaning everything and like moving the last few bits of things. So
yeah. Yeah.
moving a block is in a way harder than like moving half a mile or like 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you
It's
think you can
crazy.
just all do it like in little bits, right?
Right.
Probably. You can just,
Yeah.
I'll just run this over instead of doing like one big, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. It was luckily we had my partner had a lot of friends who was able to help. And then we also just have some friends in the area who were like, yeah, let's go. And just like helped us move. I think the biggest hassle was gonna be getting like all the big pieces of furniture, like the bed frame and the couch and the TV and the yarn cabinet, all in the space. But yeah.
Sure. So you work at Muse
Hmm.
2320, which is a yarn shop just south of the Twin Cities.
Yep.
How far is it for you to get down there?
It's about a 25-30 minute drive.
Okay.
Um, It's not too bad. I'm down there as well for my marching band job that I have. So I'm down there more often for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like my main reason for going to Hastings very often is for that job.
Okay.
And then with the expansion of the store, I've been able to like pick up a couple of hours every 2 weeks.
Right.
Again, I'm still just like a busy like young adult trying his best to like survive in this crazy world, and finding time to like do all the things and help all the people is like crazy.
Yes.
So I think that's why I'm not there as much as I want to, because I do already have a full-time job that doesn't require me to drive anywhere. I have a 5-minute walk to work every day, which is great.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But you kind of cobbled together a bunch of things.
mhm.
So you went to college for vocal performance, right? And
Yep.
dance. And is
Yep,
that
I've
something that you're pursuing on a regular basis?
not too regularly at the moment. I really want to get back into it. So hopefully having this bigger space, I have like a proper setup. I can like put my keyboard up and actually set something up and actually get myself behind the keyboard to start working at my voice again, and doing more auditions. But again, with that, I probably will have to like either cut down on work stuff or like do something else. So like it's always a balance act of like what I need or want to do. So I'm having like my brain is like I want to do all the things, but I also don't have 48 hours in a day.
So tell me when you learned how to knit and how you learned.
I learned how to knit when I was a sophomore in high school. Dawn Swanee, who is somebody I think you probably know, you've seen around, was a teacher at my high school, and she started a knitting club because she had a whole bunch of donated yarn and needles and stuff, and there were some kids who were interested in it. And me and my now sister-in-law actually went to the first meeting and like learned how to do that. Sister-in-law's 2 years younger than me. So she was a freshman. So I think it must
Okay.
have been my junior year then. But so I started in high school and then it kind of teetered off and I didn't do too much of it until I graduated high school and was going off to college because that's when Muse opened. Muse opened in 2018, the summer that I graduated high school, and I really knew Sarah well, and I was there all the time just to pass time when I didn't have really anything to do over the summer. Convinced her to give me a job there, to help her out, and then went off to school, and I got pretty obsessed with it in college.
So
So
where did you go to high school?
I went to Hastings High School.
Okay. And
Yeah,
then where did you go to college?
the Turbo University. That's down in
Okay.
La Crosse. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So did you commute?
I did not. No,
Oh,
I only
okay. So
worked
you I got
yeah, I
confused.
was
Okay.
only there for the summer,
Okay.
working at Muse, and then I just like during breaks, if Sarah needed help, I would be
Right.
like, "I'm available. Please give me something to do." So, yeah,
So you really took off though right away, didn't you? Didn't you really start knitting big things pretty quickly?
yeah, I did. The first sweater that I knit that summer. I knit a flax like everybody does, and it's kind of too tight, and the sleeves aren't as long as they need to be, and kind of. I mean, now I've grown still. I mean, even since then, where it's still like slightly cropped, but I think that's just because it's been sitting for so long. And I just like dove into the rabbit hole of Ravelry, which was
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, found Stephen West and I just got like obsessed with his stuff. And I mean, I think a majority of the stuff that I've knit shawl wise are most of his patterns, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Um,
Yeah, because they're giant
hmm
with
Yeah,
lots of colors. So also expensive,
yeah, yeah.
if you're
So it was really
using,
nice. It was really nice having that yarn store like employment and discount to help
yeah,
offset the want for like big things and color and everything. So
yeah, for sure. And you just had a like display of your shawls
hmm
at your place of employment, right?
yeah, I currently do. So for June and July, I work at a coffee shop restaurant bar called Lost Fox. It's in Lower Town, St. Paul. And we have these giant walls that we just put have like artists do showcases for. My coworker who's in charge of organizing all of them, we were yapping about it and how, oh, the artist's supposed to come in on Monday to put up the displays for June and July. We're focusing on queer artists. So we have a queer memorial display and then another artist who did some like flags. And they were like, I didn't get anything back from the third person who I was going to split the wall with for the coffee shop side. I was like, can I throw some stuff up? Like just being like, maybe, I don't know if you want physical, like, fiber
Yeah,
art on the wall or whatever, not even thinking about it. And they were like, yeah, of course, do it. So I just like bit the bullet. And I
yeah.
have 9 of my shawls up there, all but one of them are Stephen West shawls that I've knit. So
Yeah, but that would be stunning because they're so graphic, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, yeah. But you knit all the things. You knit
Mm-hmm.
socks and hats
Yep.
and cowls and ponchos and shawls. And I took a look at your
Mm-hmm.
Ravelry project pages, and just to get a familiarity with what
Yeah.
what you kind of like to knit. And so when did you start your podcast?
I started it, I think it must have been during COVID, when I was home
Yeah.
just doing nothing but knitting, especially. Um, man, you can't bite on that. Sorry, I'm being distracted by my cat.
No, what is your cat's name? Egg.
Espresso.
Okay.
Agnes is my parents' cat, who
Okay.
I left when I moved out of my parents' house. Um, but she's still there. She's 10, and I went and saw her on Thursday, and she was had such a gravelly um meow, and I was like, oh, poor
Getting
girl.
getting
Yeah.
older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love the hair, by the way. You bent
Thank
down and we
you.
all got to see the hair. Did
Here
you
we
do it
go.
yourself or did you have someone
I
do it?
did not. I have a barber who's actually in the area, so he does color too, so I had him do it for me. So yeah,
Yeah.
super fun rainbow.
Yeah. Especially for Pride. I
Hmm.
mean, you're really rocking
I'm trying my best.
that
You're just
for
gonna sit there
sure.
now. Okay.
Um, so when you started your podcast, what was your idea? Like you just wanted to share your stuff?
I think so. I think I just really wanted to like find more in the community because at the time I was watching a lot of podcasts too. So I was watching Michael from Piece for Piece Crafting. I was watching the guys Kevin and Ray, Needles Up Thready. I was watching like all of these other like male creators showcase their stuff and showcase their like this this like media that's like super like women dominated per se, and being like, no, us guys do it too, and like we have like our own spotlight that we need to showcase.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to join in on that, see if I can get something from it. Like I wasn't able to like really ever get a job like between semesters over the summer or anything, like a big
Right.
paying job. So I'm like, maybe this, if I do well at this, I can make some money during the summer,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
have just something. I haven't gotten there yet, but
No,
hope,
me either. Me
it's
either,
crazy.
Zach. I've been doing this 6 years, and you get paid when you make $100, and I've gotten paid once
That's crazy.
in 6 years for 178 episodes. I mean, you just have to have thousands of followers and views.
Yeah.
People have to watch the whole podcast, minutes, watch all
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I don't even look at it anymore. It's just like, but you think that it's a possibility, right? That you could at
Right.
least supplement your income a little bit. Nah,
Yeah. Yeah. And
you
I don't
know,
post super consistently either. I'm a very busy person. I haven't had time with the move and with everything to like sit down and record in like 2-ish months. And like even when we were trying to set this up, we were like talking in November and we kept like pushing it back because I
I
was
know,
just so busy. I was
I
like,
know. But
uh,
I mean, that's life too. I mean,
yeah.
you have to find the time for all the things that you want to do, and that's
Hmm.
why I honestly have not taken on any other kind of new crafts and hobbies. Like I used to do needlepoint all the time and
Hmm.
cross stitch, and I would love to learn to spin. Are you a spinner?
I am, yeah. I got a spinning wheel for myself when I graduated college. And then I did not touch it. I got a Dreaming Robots, like really big spinner. It was like, I think at the time it was like 250 or like $300. Did not touch it when I first got it. I think I looked at it and like tried to figure it out by myself, but I was like, I can't do this by myself. I need to like go to a class or like wait until something happens. And then darn it had those spinning introduction classes, and I was like, I have a
Oh,
wheel.
that's right.
I
Yeah,
need
because
to
I
like, yeah. So I need to like get into it. I really want to see if this could be really fun or whatever. Went and I figured it out honestly, and I was really happy that Carly and oh goodness, Carol were just so lovely about it, and just they're just such nice people, and like
yeah.
the spinning community that I've met so far is like super nice. I participated in the
That's now
DRK
I
spinning
remember once I
event.
said that, I was like, oh, yes, he did. So tell us about that.
That was that was such a fun experience. Just like it was the sheep to fleece or sheep to something like challenge that like a group of like community like spinners like faced off versus like the DKA team, just to like spin from raw wool and then fly it and then knit it up into a garment or into accessories. My team, we ended up knitting a hat and like two like fingerless gloves, and then the DKA like spun and knit like a vest, which was really cool. But it was all in like it's like an 8 hour like
Yeah.
ordeal, 7 8 hours of just like constant like spinning and going. It was crazy. It was super fun. Met a lot of other cool people doing that. And then I was able to go to only one of the spin camp days,
Yeah.
which was super fun. And
And they
I
just
learned
had that. When was that? Like
that was
May?
in May. That was mid-May.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And they had speakers and kind of like their sweater camp, but
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
It was
spin camp.
smaller. I think there was like maybe 25 people there. But I mean, honestly, with like people spinning, I mean, that small of a number works with that.
Yeah.
Because if there's like 100 people, like there is at sweater camp, all those wheels spinning, like people
Yeah.
had like traditional pedal wheels, people had e-spinners, like there was a lot of like cool spinning. I was there for the mindfulness portion, and did a lot of like meditative stuff while spinning, which was super fun. Just getting like into the zone about like this is like a
Yeah.
patient activity. It's like when I'm knitting anyway, I'm just like in the zone. Like you can have stuff on and like do whatever, but it's all about like like the physical process of like processing something and making something while also just like thinking, which is
Yeah.
it's a really
Yeah.
cool
Because I
concept.
think that's one of the first times I met you. I think we ran into each other on the shop pop or at a store or
Yeah.
something, but at sweater camp because you worked
Yes.
the table
Yep,
um
yep. The last, not this last year,
year
but 2 years
the year
ago, I
before.
was working the first aid fiber first aid. I think I reached out to Carly to see if they needed help at sweater camp, and they were like, "Yeah, sure," and they just like let me help, and I was so that was super nice of them to like let me help and like do that.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I mean, I feel like even like not even helping people but like or not even teaching people but like helping people solve things with their knitting or like looking at things and helping people break stuff down is such like a fun thing to do, and I feel like a lot of people take advantage of like slowing down and like no, fix the mistake you made, or like you don't have to panic about like having to rip out 4 inches. Like it'll be okay, it'll go back, it's all yarn. It's not like you have to like burn the entire project. Like sometimes people have that reaction of like, I messed up, I have to burn this, I have to start over like 100%. It's like, no, you don't. We can put in safety, we can like pick it up, we can
Yep.
do all the fun stuff
I taught
like.
a sweater class yesterday and we ripped back 3 balls of yarn, 3 skeins of yarn
That's
in
so
a
fun.
sweater class because her gauge was so far off and the sweater was turning out way too big. And
Oh
she was
no.
fine, but the people, the shop owner, the people in the shop were just like, what are you making her do? I'm like, this isn't fitting. This is not. It was
This
so
is
big. Their
hmm
gauge was so off, and to have support while you do that, like in my
yeah.
knitting group, we knit on Thursdays and have for many years. If somebody has to rip back something, they'll bring it to knitting group
Hmm.
and
Oh
we'll
yeah.
wind off while they're sitting there because it's just nice to have a little bit of support,
Yeah, definitely.
right? Where
I actually met one of my super close knitting friends, knitting and spinning friend Lucy, through a frogging party that we did over Zoom when the Twin Knitties was still like an actual like collective group, when they were meeting
yeah,
regularly and everything
yeah,
over Zoom during COVID
yeah,
and stuff. They did like a let's make grasshoppers and have a frogging party. I like joined that and I made like grasshoppers, frozen grasshoppers for myself in my
yeah,
dorm room.
yeah,
Just like on Zoom, like
yeah.
talking with these people. I met Lucy and now we're like great friends.
Is that group
Helped
completely defunct?
I think they are. I
I
think they've
haven't seen
kind of
anybody post about it in a long
mm-mm.
time.
I think they've kind of merged into like the Knit and Gather group
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Knit
The
and
brew and make with you.
Brew and
Yeah,
Make with You group. Yeah,
yeah.
so that's kind of where
I've
it's
been
kind
to
of
a
veered
couple of
off.
those, and yeah, that's been kind of fun. They're moving those kind of around
Yeah.
the city, so that for those of you that are local to Zach or I, actually we're pretty far apart in the Twin Cities, but
Yeah.
this is why we're doing this on Zoom.
Yes.
But they meet about once a month, and often on a Sunday afternoon, to knit at a local brewing company or somewhere, where people can just get together and kind of meet one another,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So I had a great time meeting some new people at, well,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
such an extrovert though. I love to just go around and say, what are you knitting? What are you knitting? And,
Right.
sometimes the introverts see me coming and they kind of cower.
Yeah.
They're like, here she comes. This stranger wants to talk to us. But I do think that's, well, do you have a couple of things you'd like to show us today that are your favorite knits?
Sure.
Let's look at some of the
Sure.
things that you've liked to knit.
I don't have I was trying to like search and run for like my sweater bin, but I think it's like hidden away somewhere. So I don't have any of my sweaters right now. But I'll show off this shawl that I'm working on right now.
Yeah, we'd love to
Um
see it. Oh, wow.
so this I'm almost halfway done. This is the Wonky Starfish shawl by Stephen West. I'm using a whole bunch of like neon like scraps that I have left over, and I'm running them all with like a brown as like the main color. So the brown is going to be the through color through the entire
Oh,
thing.
okay.
And I have right now I only have 7 neon, so I need to figure out what eighth neon I'm going to do. But it's all scraps. Technically, I only bought two skeins for the project, but
Is that a newer design?
it is in it was in one of his winter
Okay.
collections. I think it was like the 2024, 2023 winter collection.
Okay.
I'm really excited to see this one. I have
Is it picked up and knit as you go?
yeah, 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 it's very modular. Just like fully, I think every different like parallelogram just fully increases in size.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
So it continues to get larger.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there's that. And then I do actually have I just finished. Actually, I will go grab it since it's just right here.
Yeah,
I
no
did
problem.
just finish
Look at
this.
that pillow in your chair.
I
Look at that. Yeah, when you
yeah.
got up, I was like, oh, he's sitting
You're
on a
like, why did
pillow.
that look familiar? Oh yeah.
Yes, it does.
This
That's
auto
my
zoom is
Knitwords pillow.
This auto zoom is very interesting or autofocus. So I just cast this off finally.
Oh.
This is the coffee lovers sweater.
Yeah.
I tested it for oh gosh. What is her? Yoshimoto, I believe is their last name.
Okay.
But I saw it on their Instagram and I'm like, they were like looking for more testers. And I was like, I literally am a barista. I would love this sweater, please. I would love to
Yes.
help with the sweater. So I took me like a month and a half to work on just because I've been so busy. And it's my first time doing color work in a really long time. So I'm really happy that my
Is
attention
the
was like,
pattern out?
yes, it is.
Okay.
It is out.
Okay.
It got released at the end of May.
Okay.
Like the 30th, I think.
Okay.
But
no, that's
yeah,
perfect. I mean, talk about a themed garment.
I
Perfect.
know. I'm so excited to wear this in the winter at work.
For sure. And have you done a lot of test knits?
I do. Yeah, honestly, I feel like a lot of the Stephen West shawls that I've knit actually have been test knits. I'm on his like test knit list.
Yeah.
Because I test knit back in 2020, I test knit the painting bricks sweater.
Okay.
So that's what like got me on the list initially, and then I'm just like fully on the email list. So every time he needs test knits, I get an email being like, "We need this shawl, this sweater, this blanket, or whatever tested. You guys are already have tested before, so you get first dibs on if you want to test it." I haven't tested anything from him. I think I started one, but then I never actually finished it.
Okay.
But it's like that I think is like the biggest thing that I've been loved doing was just testing and helping out like designers. I've tested a few sweaters for a few other designers.
Do you have something else to show us?
Yes. So I knit a onesie. I knit a full body
Oh
onesie
my gosh, Zach.
um out of Holstgarn for
Like fingering?
I am what my friends call chaotic and self-destructive when I knit. Um, so I was like, oh, I knit this in a month. After being given a wedding invitation that clothes the attire for the wedding was pajamas, and I said I'm gonna knit myself a onesie, and it's called the Hello Onesie by Pickles Knit. It's a fully like a Scandinavian designer. The pattern is laid out like a traditional Scandinavian, where it's like these are like the basic things that you need to do. Um, you better know how to knit because we're not giving you any like full detail instructions on anything. So like very much like super high
Recipe?
level, super recipe. I need to actually go back. My sleeves were too short, so I just put this cable back in the sleeve, so I'm gonna rip out the cuff and knit the sleeves longer. I still have a whole
Who
cone.
do you know that had a pajama wedding? That's incredible.
So the maker at Mince Makes, they're on YouTube. They've done a few. They do cyanotyping. They work at the Yarnery. They're a friend
Okay.
of mine. So they got married in October, I believe. And they're a really awesome person, and they're just so cool. And they were like, our wedding is gonna be pajama themed, and you can come in your pajamas. And it was so lovely. It was my first ever like traditional Jewish wedding, so that was a super like interesting just thing to like sit through and like watch this ceremony,
Yes.
this traditional ceremony take place of love and everything. And it was so good. It was such a fun time. Um,
That's a masterpiece. I mean,
yeah. So I knit it. I like finished it the day before the wedding, and then I tried it on. I was like, okay, this is like kind of see through. Um, because my gauge is a little too
yeah,
loose.
but yeah, I mean, it would be
Yeah.
in knitwear.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I've learned some things about like how I didn't wash this properly. Like I should apparently like boil this yarn to get all of the oils out of it.
Oh,
To like
yeah, because it was a
fully like
cone.
fluff
It
up.
was on a
Yeah,
cone.
exactly.
So
So
it's
I
still
have
in the grease. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And then it had me like do a button band or whatever, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I like did a lot of modifications too on like I have like an integrated like band and whatever. So I just take took all of I had like the hook clasps
Yeah.
that I had like just quickly sewn in to be able to like hook it to like this like
Yeah.
sewn down panel that I have, and just use that. I had a pants and I had a shirt on under it because I was like, I'm not exposing myself to anybody that I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going back, I'm extending the sleeves, and I'm gonna actually sew on a zipper to it,
Oh, yeah.
just for ease, and hopefully, like if I block it or if I like actually wash it correctly, I can like maybe get into wearing it more
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah.
But
But if you just wash
this,
it in some Dawn, that'll
yeah,
take that grease right out. Yeah.
yeah, but
I know a couple of my
seriously,
friends bought cones like that still in the grease at Rhinebeck, and boy, those cones can really smell. I mean, you can
hmm
not a bad smell, but very woolly and greasy. Like you
yeah,
can really tell that they're really still close to the sheep.
yeah. So that's like honestly, like this project has been like it's just been like sitting for so long, and like I finished that sweater yesterday, and I'm like, okay, do I want to cast on a new thing, or do I want to like actually pick this up and like get into fixing and finishing it so I can be happy with it? Um, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's not gonna take me that long. So
Yeah, no, but going back is so hard
I
sometimes.
that's mhm.
like I have a sweater I just finished not that long ago, and I don't think it's long enough. And do I want to take it and add? No, and it wouldn't take maybe a couple days, maybe, but I
Right.
don't. I'm convincing myself to like cut it and tear it down and add the length. It's just
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it. I'll do a lot of other things before
Hmm.
before I kind
I
of want to
literally,
do.
I told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like do it so I can just like knit like additional tubing and then like Kitchener the cuff back on. And then I like was putting the cable back on, the needle back on today. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna rip off this cuff and just redo the cuff and redo everything. Like it's gonna be fine.
That's exactly
Um,
what I'm thinking because
so,
this has color work at the bottom and I don't want to redo it. So I'm
oh
like,
yeah,
okay, I'll cut that and then I'll
yeah,
Kitchener it. I'm like, I don't want to Kitchener all the way around.
yeah, yeah,
I know. Gosh darn. And it's fine if I wear it with a dress, but if I want to wear the pants, it's not long enough.
yeah,
And in it, that was, I think, my decision is that I couldn't decide if I was always going to wear it with a dress, so it could stay
right.
kind of more cropped or not. I just don't want to go back. I probably won't. I'll just wear it with dresses and be lazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But what's the
Um,
shawl on the back of your chair?
oh, this is a shawl that I tested for Stephen West.
Oh,
This is
okay. Well, show us.
it's the melting marl
Oh,
shawl.
yeah. Where you
So,
switch the two colors.
hmm
Show
yeah,
that real close. That's
yeah,
really pretty.
I used a bunch of leftover Muse scraps. So all of this is Muse 2320 yarn. I have some Surrey in here as well to get that
Yeah,
color fade. So,
that's really nice.
yeah.
Because you could just do just about any colors because it
Oh
will
yeah.
switch.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
I
That looks
am,
really cozy. Is it
yeah.
fingering
It's
held
fingering
double?
held double. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's really closer to a
A
DK.
DK. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knit it on a 6, I believe. Yeah, that's usually what his DKs are, is on a 6.
Yeah.
Um, but I am working on a shop sample right now for Muse. I
Oh,
don't have it by
no.
me.
Do you
But
want to go
I'm
get it? Do you have
sure.
time?
Sure. Yeah. There we go.
I
It
love
wasn't
that
that far
giant
actually.
wood beam you have behind
Oh my
you.
gosh. Literally the exposed wood in this apartment is crazy. It's so
I my
good.
daughter lived right on Victoria and Grand, just
Mm,
a few apartment
hmm.
buildings down there.
Yeah.
And some of the architecture and the hardwood floors in those
Yeah.
older buildings are, it's just amazing. Yeah. She was going to school at William Mitchell. And so she lived right there on the corner.
Hmm.
And then they moved up to Marshall in another older
Yeah.
home. But gosh, yeah, some of those really have some nice features.
Yeah. It's yeah. I'm upset. I'm in a 2 bedroom, 2 bath now, and I've only ever lived in like studios or like really small 1 bedrooms. And it's actually like the amount of space that we just have is crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Um,
that over there
yeah.
in a lot of kind of bigger companies buying up a lot of those older buildings
Hmm.
and turning them into, and then not really even flipping them, just managing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it because that my daughter lived. Yeah. She loved her apartment and she liked that area, that proximity right there,
Hmm.
where she could just walk to class, walk to bread and chocolate, walk to cafe latte, walk to the
Yeah.
yarnery. She
Exactly.
doesn't
Yeah.
knit, but there's so much on that corner,
Yeah.
particularly,
Hmm.
right? That way, several spaces,
So good.
lots of restaurants and stuff. But
Exactly.
yeah, that's a nice. Are you close to like Lower Town?
Yeah, I am in Lower Town. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the apartment that I'm in is super is like not even a block from the farmers market that's down here. I'm really close to CHS Field as well. So yeah.
Nice. And your work, close to your
Yeah.
work.
Literally a 5 minute walk every day. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
So, and do you work mostly every day?
I do. Yeah. I
Is it
work
that?
Monday through Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Super
What'd you
fun.
bring us?
Okay. So I've knit this shawl once before. 2 pattern. I knit it as a test knit for Max the knitter,
Yes.
Maxim Cyr of Le
Yep.
Garçon. And I'm doing a second version of it for
Oh,
Muse.
wow.
These are some of her new summer colorways. I think only So the all the triangles are all new colorways. The gray
Yeah.
that I have going through is Storm. This is the Shawlshank Redemption
Okay. Oh,
shawl.
great name.
Right, I know. Um, but I'm doing a few modifications where I did like an I-cord tab cast on instead of
Yeah.
a garter tab.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then fully modifying like the edging of it by being an I-cord instead of because
Garter.
before it was a garter with like a slip stitch.
Oh.
Um, so it's just yeah, all slip stitches. I feel like
It's
all of
oh, it is
Max's
all slipped.
all I feel every time I get a test knit call or I see something about Max's shawls, all of his shawls are slip stitch shawls, which is crazy, but they go by so fast.
Yeah.
I knit this, I literally knit all of this in like 5 days when I was on a trip. So I went to Indiana um 2 weeks ago now for Indianapolis Pride, and I brought this with and I knit it on the plane. And it's a short plane ride, but I still got like this much done. And then I was sitting, waiting for friends to be
Yeah.
ready to go places. I got this much done, and then here. So,
What took you to Indianapolis Pride? Do you know
um,
someone there?
yeah. So my partner actually has some friends who live out there.
Oh, okay.
And they're the first of his friends that I met when we started dating. So I knew them already, and
Yeah.
we have a group chat and
Yeah.
everything. So like
Yeah.
I knew them, but
I know people that travel to lots of
yeah.
different prides, right? For
Oh
sure.
yeah.
You know, it's a busy month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
So
why I was surprised this weekend worked well
right.
for
I'm
you.
like, I'm free I'm free. Next weekend, not free. Twin Cities Pride is next weekend. I am not free. I'm busy.
Yes, no, for sure. Yeah. And I just had my new Pride dumpling bag.
I did see that when
Did
I
you
was on
see it?
Ravelry today. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, this is cute.
Yeah, they're really fun. I'm gonna do 12 different dumpling bags, different designs, and I
Fun.
decided to get I already finished 3, and then I was like, dang, you have that Wear It With Pride hat that has all the rainbow colors in it. Although I would like to do another one with all the colors. Like, did you see Susie of Fiber MacGyver's new mini skein set with all the Pride colors in it?
I did not.
From the yarnery. It's at Yarnery's doing it for their one yarn collection, and they're
Oh,
donating
nice.
the money to, and she has the whole mini skein bundle of all the Pride colors.
I love that.
And so I was like, okay, I need to do a bag in all of the colors because
Yeah.
I just did rainbow, which is fine. That represents, but you know, I do like having the pink and the turquoise and the brown and the black all in
it's
there,
nice.
you know, and that's what this whole bundle, I think it's like 11 skeins maybe in the mini skein pack. It's a big pack. And then they're donating money to Trevor Project too.
Amazing.
And maybe to also some local organizations. Okay. I have done a Trevor Project donation every year in June for the last few years. Because right now, Lord, we need to
need it.
Our youth.
Yeah.
who need the support and the hotline for sure. Right.
Exactly.
So, well, do you have anything else?
I think this has been
great. It usually runs about a half an hour, so that's awesome. Hopefully we can get together and knit sometime and just hang out because Matt is the only guy that comes to our knitting group. We do meet on Thursdays over the lunch hour. And so he has scheduled himself because he works at IKEA. He schedules himself out on Thursdays during that time. But it would be nice to have a couple more guys that would come to the knitting group so he didn't have to always listen to
the lady talks.
The lady talk. Because we do. And then he's so easygoing, he doesn't care. But
that's how I am too when I'm at knitting groups. I'm just like, I'm just going to sit here and knit.
Honestly, because it's so female dominated, right? Like he still gets asked if one of us made his sweater. You know, like if we're in public.
Oh yeah, if a stranger comes over, it's like, oh my God, who made your sweater? And he's like busy knitting another sweater. You're like, I did.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I know. It happens all the time. Well, thanks so much, Zach. It was really nice to have you. This will be going up in a few weeks and I'll let you know beforehand. But yeah, we'll see everybody next time. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey. Bye.
I do love the hair though. I had orange bags for a while and I haven't gone back to it. We went to Rhinebeck one year and I I did orange bangs, and I haven't gone back to them, but yeah, that's really fun. It's so vibrant.
Yeah, my barber was like, "Oh, what's your favorite color?" I'm like, "Orange is my favorite color." He's like, "Okay, I'll put that at the front and then work the rainbow that way." And I went, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense actually."